Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Ege. I'm going to talk about the Revit professional software to create a residence, but in a different way. We have done this earlier, and we used Revit before to create the kitchens. We already create a number of all houses, residences, and so on. Very straightforward. And some of my students ask me about uh, how come we are only doing very traditional stuff, very commonly used, popular buildings, boxy buildings, and what about art? What about expression of the form? What about design and different designs that are not necessarily in the among the most of the traditional buildings? Modern buildings are quite different. So to answer that question, Revit is also perfectly capable of designing modern, artistically oriented, expressive buildings as well. And we can go easily using Revit commands outside the primitives and boxes, and we can design buildings, actually very modern cubic buildings. So how do we do that? There's a concept inside the Revit. It's called Mass Solid. And Mass Solid commands will enable you to design forms almost any shape you can think of. There's an infinite range of shapes that you can generate. All the designs that you can imagine can be done using Revit. However, you're going to have to know the procedures. So I never showed this before because we were very busy with the most commonly available commands, most commonly needed commands of the Revit. And you came around very interesting existing traditional designs and buildings. You did beautiful wonderful gymnasiums, for example, uh, residences, and so on. Now let's create something modern, more modern. Okay, modern architecture actually started in the 1930s, 40s, and all the way to extended today. So postmodern architecture, okay, today's current architecture, futuristic architecture is quite different than the old buildings we're doing. So I'm suggesting there are several ways of reaching those commands inside Revit, but it's very well hidden. So we didn't use this before. So I'm suggesting um, start Revit, please, and start architectural template. It is extremely important that you do architectural template in the beginning. Actually, I can demonstrate this one. When you go to Revit command, you click on the new view, and then you go find the architectural template. This one. Do not go with the construction template yet. Okay. All right. So when you do that, this is the screen you're gonna come out. Okay. And when you have the screen, zoom in a little bit, please, like that. And one of the there are again, as I said before, there are several ways of doing this. However, I'm going to show you my preferred access. So please move your cursor over the top of the pull-down menu or ribbon area where it says massing and site. Massing and site, click on it. When you reach to the massing and site, one of the things you want to create, okay, in place mass, and it's going to ask you, okay, you can see the in place mass, and unique to the project. And then after that, place a mass command will be done. Okay, so I'm going to go to in place mass, and it's going to ask me to name it first. So click on it, and I'm going to call it mass is good residence. This is going to be a residence, maybe weekend vacation house or weekend house. So uh, let's go with the vacation home. Okay, and vacation house. Okay. So I named it so that I can find, and I click OK. All right. So it gives you an option, directly changes your screen, okay, to generate uh, the base of the geometry, the form. The form, particular vacation home I had in mind was a rectangular, has a rectangular base. So I'm going to click on at the lower left-hand corner. I am keeping an eye on the dimensions. It's going to be 45 feet long and 30 feet wide. So I'm going to all the way moving my cursor carefully and paying attention at the same time, 30 feet by 45. And this is a rectangle of 30 feet by 45 approximately. Okay. So I'm checking out, do I need anything else in the base of the form? There are several sides and the base looks good. Okay. And I can create the form from here, but I'm going to go finish the mess. Okay. All right. And so we are on the level 1 and we are on the site. And I'd like to change my angle. So I go to view and I'm going to change my default view. Okay. So that this is a 3D view and one floor. Okay. And so I'm going to move my cursor right over the line and select the form that I said, just select it, okay, at the corner right here. All right, like that. Okay, and we are on the level 1. You're selecting the corner, okay, and we're finishing the mass. Okay, so uh, as soon as I select the mass, okay, sides, okay, I can select each corner different time and adjust it, modify it if I want to. Sometimes it takes double click, sometimes a single click. But if I want to select everything, make a big selection window, click like that, okay? And when everything is selected, all the lines and all the corners has been selected, you want to go to create form. And you have two options here, solid form and void form. The solid form is a solid object model that you're creating. However, the void form is a whole. So for now, don't use it now, but use the solid form. Okay, solid form gives you option rectangle became rectangular prism with a 20 feet high, and I'm very comfortable with because 20 feet high cube, okay, it's 45 by 30 feet by 45 feet by 20 feet, gives me 2-floor house, and I'm very happy with it. And and you can see the arrows here. Those arrows enables you to go left and right, up and down, even move front and back. So all those options are available. And if you don't like anything you have in there, Control Z, Control Z, and Control Z, back again, you're back to normal. Okay. What if you want to rotate this, for example? You could select the one of the floors and go to rotate command. Okay. Rotate command gives you a number of angles of rotation. So I'm selecting, I want a 45-degree rotation. So I'm going to go like this, like that. And now 45-degree rotation is achieved. Okay. So this is 2-floor house with a 45-degree rotation. Okay. And one of the things you can do again, you can just choose the surfaces in, for example, and subdivide the surfaces, divide surfaces. And there are horizontal division, floor by floor, or vertical division. Okay. And you can choose each surface. Okay. Okay. That gives you a number of other modifications and options. All right. But you need to select the surface first and click on it and then divide the surface. Okay. All right. Okay. So I suggest you play with this command for a while and select the surfaces and divide them, because you're going to find very handy some other time. Okay. All right. So far, so good. And but remember, this is not a building yet. So we're going to make a building, okay, eventually at one point. Um, so I'm going to select the finish the mass command. All right. And we do have, we still have an access to the, when you click on the surfaces, okay, modification. So mass floors, let's take the mass floors. All right. So let's do the level 1 floor. And okay. Level 1 floor is here. Okay. So you choose the bottom floor and okay. So what kind of floor would you like to have? Okay, you go to architecture and you select the floors and architectural floors and so on, and the generic floor, and you choose maybe uh, wood finish floor. Okay, and you know, you realize that you're going to have to, you're in the level 1, you're supposed to be creating a wood finish floor by just simply drawing a rectangle. Okay, all right, and if everything looks right, you could okay. All right. Now, there's one wood finish floor, but this is actually 2 floor house, right? All right. You can modify the floor. You can attach it to the second level, 10 feet high, for example. So if you click outside and click on the floor again, so if you go to mass floors, for example, it will give you option to reach to second floor level, and it generates the ghost image of the second floor, what the second floor is like. Now, if you're on the second floor, if you are on the second floor right now, when we are, okay, it will let you to choose, okay, the floor, architectural floor, and second floor, okay. So this time we're drawing the floor line by line, okay. Second floor is also created, okay, and finish it. Oh, one line is missing, okay, and the second floor is also generated. Now this needs to be taken up to the height where the second floor is. Okay, so sometimes you're going to have to regenerate the lines, okay, on the top view when the second level is selected, and they create the floor and then change the height, okay, from the properties. And this is what's happening right now. I'm just setting the properties. Mhm. Okay, there it is. Okay. All right. So this is the product so far. We have two floors, and the form gradually turning into a building by just adding the floors first. Okay, and if you go to a site level, for example, okay, you can add a roof. Okay, based on what we have here. All right, and in the site level, and you can literally go to architecture and the add the roof command and just simply add the lines, okay, one line at a time. All right, and then okay it. And roof can be modified also. Okay, roof doesn't have to be. You can have a glazing, slope glazing roof. You can have flat roof. You can rafter roof and so on, generic roof and so on. So the roof itself doesn't have to be hip roof. And you can literally cancel the angles as well. Mhm. All right, so we're gonna we can do the roof part a little later, okay? And I just wanted to show you how to create the walls first, and then we can go to the roof, okay? And when you go to click on the architecture and the wall and architectural wall, okay? Again, one more time, architecture, wall, and wall by face. Click on the wall by face. And the basic wall, you can choose a basic wall and choose a face. Okay, it generates the basic wall immediately for you. All right, and then we can modify the wall to perhaps something like uh, brick wall. Okay, and but make sure that You go to the wall, all right. Select the wall by face, select the face, okay, generate walls, and then move on to other side, all right. Again, uh, go to the wall command, wall by face, select the face, okay, and turn the side and select the face, okay. All right. So basically, there are four walls. They're all down. Okay. We're going to do the roof and we're going to do the window and so on. Occasionally save your work, obviously. Save as. And it's a project. And take it to OneDrive. In your case, I'll take it to somewhere else, in my case. Okay. And how are we going to do with the roof? Roof is important. Uh, there are already two floors created. We're going to add window and doors. However, how do we create it? So we have to be inside, first of all. Okay. And those edges are supposed to be also pulled back. All right. And we're on the side view and go to architecture and the roof. Okay. And roof by face is a good option to go by. And select the roof by face. And when you move your cursor inside the roof area, not not touching these lines, but inside the roof area, it automatically select the entire roof area. Okay. And check everything else. If it looks like if everything is set, create the roof over here on the top right hand corner. All right. So roof is created. But what I like to do is extend the roof. Okay, we did create the roof. We are finished. Okay. And but there are a number of items that can be changed. For example, thickness, instead of thickness 1 foot, I like to change it to 2 feet, 3 feet if possible. It's going to look better. Also, I like to have the roof sticking out of, roof eaves sticking out of the roof, okay, to protect the people from the snow or rain, okay. I like to have a little bit higher the roof so that and modify the angle also. Also, that's also very important, okay. Um, all right, all of this are going to be done, okay. And I'm going to click on the properties and see what I can do about the thickness, default thickness, if I can edit it, okay. Maybe 3 feet would be a good choice, okay. Did it make some change? Yes, it did. We can increase the elevation, maybe 1 foot or 12 inches. Okay, three. Height is changed, and the modify and roughness. Mhm. Okay. Roofs are very modifiable. Okay, so if you want to, uh, you have to be on the site, and if you want to modify the roof on the footprint of the roof is particularly is important. Being able to change, you should be able to change the footprint of the roof as well. A little bit outside, I'm modifying the roof from the arrows available. I think it looks far better this way, and also it's more protecting better. Okay. Okay, so what are we going to do about the door? Now, door may be an issue because the walls are inclined walls. And how do we get rid of that? Um, I want to show you what I mean by that. If you go to architecture and click on the door and select any single exterior door, which is 36 inches by 84 inches, and put it in the middle. Okay. Okay. Actually, you can have two doors even side by side. Okay. And zoom in. You can see that the building is not joining to the is not joining to the door. The wall is not joining to the wall. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about. The areas inside the door jamb and the wall, there is an empty area. So the question is, how do you avoid that? How do you modify? Okay. Is it possible to fill this area? Yes, it is. And you're going to be going back to wireframe, perhaps. Okay, hidden line wireframe. And um, we're going to have the foyer sticking out of the building first. That's very important part. So, and create the foyer outside of the building. Roof turned out to be way too big. We have a roof eave sticking out on opening, but not this much. Okay. So we're going to adjust this. All right. And I'm going to change it to wireframe perhaps and go back to the level one because uh, door should be on the level one. Okay. And if this is the area that I like to have a door, I would like to have two walls. Okay. At least in this area. And perhaps I should go like this. Mhm. Like that. And go like this. Okay. And the doors that I already added will be taken out. So I'm erasing this door and this one too to add a new door here. Here and one here. Now, please remember, doors are always open inside except exterior doors. So exterior doors are supposed to be opening outside. Um, this is one of the rules, interesting rules of architecture. And we need to break this wall also. There is a wall break command somewhere here. We're going to use that. Making this, okay. This wall short. And also this area needs a floor, architectural floor, and maybe a ceramic floor. So I'm going to change the floor to ceramic floor. I want to draw the line by line. Okay. It doesn't like highlighting, so highlighting is okay actually. Overlapping, it doesn't like overlapping, but overlapping is okay in this case. We can make it a little bit slightly wider. That's okay. Um, you need to add a small roof here. Flat ceiling, actually. Ceiling is a better idea. And make sure that you maintain the levels because you're on the operating in the second level. So if you're creating a ceiling, a roof, or floor, make sure that you're on the correct level. Okay, when you select uh, the floor, you can make it a little bit wider, okay, because it's an exterior and it only helps, okay, and then okay. And save your work. So this is it, and give it a try and see how it goes. If you find yourself in trouble or if you have any questions, call me, and let's discover what else we can do with this feature. I'm pretty sure this feature is very creative way of designing extraordinary buildings. Occasionally, you need to create extraordinary buildings. Sometimes, depending on your client or depending on the environment you're working or type of the building you're designing, art buildings, civic centers, the museums, okay, and the modern buildings are usually require extraordinary designs, and that particular feature, that mass solid in Revit, enables you to create forms that otherwise is not possible. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and let's give it a try and see how it goes and discover what else we can do. Okay.